I'm Margaret in Windsor. I forgot to put this in between the two tapes. I've just put the number one on there. And then I want to insert this because I forgot. I want to show you again who my father is, King Edward VIII, the real one. A double was used to marry Wallace Simpson and take out my father. His own brother, George VI, Elizabeth's father, had kidnapped me in '39 with Roosevelt. Joseph Kennedy was ambassador and father to John and JFK, or Bobby. Uh, so I wanted to insert this because I've written about mind control before I found out about being kidnapped and selling out of my country by Elizabeth, who's illegal, and her father. Uh, I put in here mind control has nothing to do with mental illness, but it's being used to cover it up as a weapon, misdiagnose, torture people is really it and take away any civil right. Uh, I wanted to say that not so much now because of the Edward Snowden and all this and WikiLeaks and all this exposing some stuff, and I have all along, but it's getting nowhere. No media, nothing. But mind control is programming. It's teaching you the Morse code without your knowledge at a level of hearing that you don't know you're getting. Your kids can be programmed from way back. Now, I started telling this in the early 70s. Goes back to the Tesla, early 35. The point is that you can control a person's decision making. You can make them do anything, kill someone, anything you want them to do. Run the car off in the river and drown like Sailor. Well, I won't get into that. I put that in prior to back at Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville. And you can take a plane down. The pilot falls asleep or runs into the side of the mountain. So it's the invisible weapon, and who do you tie it back to unless it's deliberately put in patterns and done, and then is it still going to be exposed, or what? What's the sole purpose? Part of this I wanted to say was, and I didn't really make the point that clear, was my father is a beautiful man. He was taken down for that reason. He was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor. Now then, history hasn't cleared this up. A 99-year seal was put on it, and on my birth, and I'm Victoria II, the legal heir, not Elizabeth. But if you looked at the background they've given me here in another name, and what they've done to me, what they did to my father, they just eliminated my mom. You would look at this woman, Elizabeth, who is a cold-blooded calculator, has lived a life. It's unreal, the whole thing, and shut the whole thing up, her and her father and her continuing heirs, which are illegal. She sold out Great Britain. She didn't even have the right to do it, but she did it. Here she is. You think she is a nice lady. That's who you'd look at as nice. Now I'm going to stand up here if I can. You would look at JFK. He continued what his father was doing to me, and Bobby. My life has been hell. And here's the mental health system that I'll let you read it. Now then, they say that's a scar on Dallas. Nobody mentions what they've done to my father, to me, to the British, to the Germans, and that's a scar on Dallas, so long as you keep the truth hidden. Now then, you would look at the Kennedys and you boo-hoo, and you make out that they're nice people. They were mafia kidnapping murderers. That's the truth of it. You look at this man. I certainly don't agree with what he did, but I certainly don't make a hero out of a cold-blooded killer. The Kennedys, the part of the Windsors, Elizabeth, or this country, the downright cold-blooded murder of so many people, using mind control, using kidnapping. So I want to go back here because this is one of the things that you can't really tell, or they can use it for the law to come out. And don't tell me I've lost the sheet here. Anyway, I'll just tell it. I was telling about, I'm moving around here. I was telling about what it had done to me in previous tapes, and it's hideous over my life. It's been a hell. I keep saying that because that's a living hell. That's what they told me. And I thought, how can it get any worse? And that was back in '79, and man, did I find out. Anyway, I'm going to point to, I was flown to Flint's during the campaign in '83, furnished a car. In '84, they knew where I was. They sent me the endorsement in Hustler magazine, and a pretty good article. Okay, then I ended up driving the Hustler car with no money, really strange, begging for fuel, and got a brand new Hustler car, sleeping in it, sliding around in the snow, places I'd never been, trying to get help in all this. And so they sent me the endorsement. In fact, it was an FBI agent that called me, and they knew where I was and sent the magazine to me. But I ended up in Grottoes, Virginia, in about July of '84, later in '85, after the Haysom murders in '85. They were done in Bedford. Jens Oren's the diplomat's son, German diplomat's son. It's in prison with Elizabeth, the daughter. The car was sitting there, and I'm pumping gas, and I'm cashiering to make a living. And the Ronico was a former sheriff's deputy. He was older and on the store, but he had relatives there that were in law enforcement too. And he had a scanner, and I'm saying this because this is one of the things, if you say, they can come out and handcuff you and say you're crazy. No matter that it's doing it, the people said it. Everybody's afraid of it. But Reinica pointed to his police scanner up there on several occasions, and he said, they know where you are, they can follow you. So that being said, I'm not allowed to say that, you see, especially with the background they've given me, which is a lie. Now, I'm going to jump forward to living on the Appalachian Trail with nothing, stripped down to nothing, starving, no money, can't get a job, freezing, walking in the hot sun, begging. I came down, I was on Mountain Pass Road. That's the old trail before it was a new part built on the other side of Mountain Pass toward Troutville. So I'm going up the old trail, no money. And I don't want to bother someone. I'm afraid I'll get locked up. So it's a long way up climbing the Appalachian Trail, believe me, and a long way trying to find water in the summer when there is none. And you put it on your back and you freeze and you starve. So I stayed away from the people on Mountain Pass there at the trail as much as I could. Later I was able to get some money, but then I couldn't. I was so starved and everything that I came down, and I'm going to mention their name. His name was David Edwards, and his farm was a nice one right next to the trail there, the old trail on Mountain Pass. Across the street were the Crawfords. Now, I think the Crawfords had connections to law enforcement, but they would not help me. One time, and I didn't bother them. There are only a few occasions I asked them to help me, and that was with a phone call. I asked for water one time because it was in the summer. You know what they did? I've had to walk up mountains and boulders to get water and drink it where the mosquitoes were there and it was dripping and snakes could have bit me. So I've been there, done it. What happened was that Mr. Crawford took the water jug I had. When I got back across, he'd give it to me out of a water hose. When I got back, he'd filled it with soapy water. I couldn't drink it. It was horrible. So this is just the bit of kindness these people have shown. They're cold-blooded killers. Now, back to David Edwards, who lived across the street next to me, where the old trail went up. I went to his parents. He lived next door to him. They had a big, huge farm and land there. His parents were a little older. They were still getting around. I mean, they were doing good. I did knock on their door and ask them, did they have a church that could help me get some food? And they gave me, not that I wasn't glad to get this, but why am I having to be grateful to people who have stolen this and done me this way, broken every law in the book, and your hands are dirty, America, cold-blooded dirty. Um, they gave me some second-rate peanut butter. I've even eaten it when they spit in it. People have spit in it and give it to me. Um, to have a bite to eat to keep from falling down starving. The point is that they let me in. She gave me peanut butter had been eaten out of. Gave me just a couple of old cans of food, and off I go. They tell me to come back the next day and maybe they can help me some more. Well, I go back expecting to go in, and the old man, Edwards, is standing there, and I start to open the door because the screen door, he's standing there, and I think, well, he's told me to come back, and it's locked, and he's standing there looking at me, and he said, you can't come in. And he has a scanner, a police scanner, just like up in Grottoes. So I'm giving you an example of how do you think they maneuver me and around and do all this to me. Stop and think about it, and yet I'm not allowed to say it, or off you go, or that's considered nuts or crazy when it's all very real and has been going on for a long, long time. So the door's locked on me. He said they can scan you with a police scanner. They know where you are at all times. So that being said, I'm going to stop this one, and I hope I can upload the next one. And it's up to you all. Whether you watch this, it's too late for me, really. So what's the point? I found out what people are like. The British and Germans are the one that helped me, a handful of Americans. The rest of the Americans are busy living their life, and they don't give a damn.